moving over to my favorite part of today's discussion, and that is a discussion with a very dear friend of mine, Payal Sakhuja. She's a co-founder for Ripple Links. Um, Almost all of you would be knowing, but I'll quickly set up an introduction. Ripple Links today is a full-service influencer marketing agency. They deliver amazing influencer campaigns. They engage with all the brands on, the creative level, community level. They do a lot of creator programs. And Payal, if I'm not wrong, I think you have esteemed brands like Colgate, Asian Paints, Xiaomi, Heinz, Mahindra Bank, and many more in your kitty already.
Yes, that's right, Seema.
That's great. Payal, it's my absolute, delight to be talking on a topic today, with you, which is dear to, I think, both you and me, and that is, where are we, with the entire short form video universe? Where is it heading? How has it become such an integral part of our lives today? While we're talking about the size of the this industry, and Anushka has put up a slide which even talks about 8 to 12 billion size and so on. What actually, and this is something which I face as a publisher, and I'm sure every brand comes and asks you, what do we do with the attention span, or what do we do with that stigma of people looking at the content and quickly doing a up swipe or a right swipe? How do brands deal with that?
So, if you ask me, attention span these days have drastically come down,
Yeah.
We want everything quick. Earlier we would say Maggie 2 minute mein. Now we are expecting, groceries to be delivered at home in under 10 minutes, right? So we want everything at the snap, ki chutki bajao and things should be done. And that expectation is there. So when everything is happening so quickly, people do not like to consume content which is really, really detailed. Hence, short form videos are definitely, the way to reach every audience. We do get these questions quite often asked by brands ki 30 seconds, 59 seconds. How do I communicate it so quickly? 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Mera message pahunchega ki nahi pahunchega, And to that, Seema, what we always tell brands is, if your communication is crisp, everybody is going to remember it. You need not spend a 10-minute video or a 20-minute video or a long article to communicate your brand message. So I'm sure everybody remembers Pepsi. We would just say Pepsi aha, and that became a campaign. We would say 5 matlab chota Coke, or thanda matlab Coca-Cola. So there people didn't even use 5 seconds. It was hardly 3-4 seconds and the brand message was communicated. So for things like that, I think it's absolutely fine if your communication strategy is crisp. You will definitely reach out to the target audience. I mean, one brand that does it beautifully. I mean, they do amazing moment marketing, which I really like, is Amul. I mean, today morning I saw an ET which said, I Muska for all, because Tim Cooks was in India and they had this whole thing. So they had I Muska for all, again, a 3-4 word sentence, but we all knew what it was. So that's it. If your messaging is crisp, clear, you need not need a long form to substantiate that messaging. You can catch the attention of the user in the earlier seconds of whatever content we do.
Absolutely correct. I mean, I completely resonate with you. So I think the gist that I'm taking away from your pointers is that today marketeers need not only budget the monies, but they also need to budget on the time.
Correct, absolutely. And it's good, right? Shorter airtime also saves marketers a lot of money, because if you create a longer content, you need to spend so much in production to create that long content. If you're creating shorter content, it's also saving marketers with a lot of money and also reaching the target audience right, provided your messaging is right, provided you've got your strategy right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, while we're talking about this, and these are some of the amazing pointers I think you have discussed, and they're part of our best practices, on both ShareChat and Moj. So while this entire universe, this short form video or the social media platforms today, one thing which is the soul of this entire universe, and I believe in it, is the Gen Zs or the youth. I think everything is revolving around them. And like they say, if you want to catch them, you catch them young. It holds so true for the times we are living in. And you deal with brands, which have been there since ages. Like, you and me have been born and brought up on a brand like Colgate or, many other such iconic brands. And you actually guide them towards catching these young audience. So tell me, what do you think, as an agency owner today, Pai, what do you think makes this young India tick, or, actually stick on to your brand, or look up to your brand, or actually say that, okay, yeah, hell yeah, that's my brand. I want to look at them and I want to follow them. What is it that makes them tick?
So, before I answer this, what makes young India click or tick, I think it's important to know what young India wants, or who this young India is. I think this young India, and by young India, I do not mean only age mein younger. It could be anybody who is digital, tech savvy, is India today, right? For all of us, young India is very, very well read, is very well informed. With mobile, with data being accessible to everybody, be it our kids, be it our household help. I have seen everybody is highly, highly tech savvy these days, and with internet access being accessible by all, young India is very well informed. If we have to make a purchase decision earlier, if I go 10 years older or 15 years older, we would ask somebody, and whatever they would tell us, we would believe and go and buy the product, right? But today we do not do that. Young India definitely doesn't do that. What do? They read about it. They look for competitors. They compete. They try and figure out what works for them, what will not work for them, and then they go and make their decision. So young India is definitely well read, well informed, and make the decisions, by weighing all the options very well. So even if they have to buy, say, for example, if they have to buy a mobile phone, they would go and figure out, shall I buy an Apple? Shall I buy a Xiaomi? So there would be various factors, right? It could be budget, it could be what camera you're looking at, what data you're looking at, right? But they would definitely go and read up, watch videos, read up articles, and figure out what is it that they definitely need. So young India is informed. Young India loves entertainment. Again, I'm telling young India, but even we love entertainment. If a content is very boring, nobody's going to consume it. If an ad is boring, nobody likes it. Fevicol ads, we all remember. I would remember Fevicol ads, chipkao kind of a thing. Because bachpan se we have seen it and they have done very beautifully, right? Yeah. Now, if something is creative, is exciting, is entertaining, that makes young India click. If something is boring, they do not resonate with it. But they also like a lot of personal touch, a lot of conversational, tone in doing things. They like being addressed to, they like being heard. Hence, any social media platform that gives young India, a platform for brands to hear them out is what young India likes. They love it when brands ask, we feel this, tell us what you feel, right? We have done campaigns with brands where a lot of brands, even for Palmolive, when we did something, they spoke to a lot of users, and these were like your creators online who were not like very big but small on is product ki packaging ye karu ki nahi karu, isme, do you think will this work, will this not work? I'm planning to go to the market with this messaging, will it work for my audience, right? So they love it when it's a two-way communication, and social these days is giving people an option to make communication two-way, right? So that is, I think, what works for young India. And what makes them click or tick is if you give them something that is honest, and if you do not play around with them. Brands have to be honest. Brands have to abide by whatever we are committing. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि आप दिखाओ कुछ और मिलेगा कुछ और. If any brand is honest to their propositions, whatever they are making, everybody buys to it. Be it young India, be it old India, be it you and me, everybody is going to buy.
Fact, Payal, as to, the last statement you made, because I remember I was reading somewhere that today's youth, and is one of the the section of society which doesn't hesitate in standing up for a cause. And that cause could be anything. It could be related to a country, it could be related to an organization, it could be related to a brand, and which we see that, suddenly you will see one youth standing for a cause and actually talking about it, and the video becoming viral.
Absolutely.
If facts and every figures are clear. Another thing, and I remember having this conversation with you, a couple of weeks back, and you were telling me that, there is this growing trend from influencers to the regional influencers, the celebrities to the regional influencers, and that is what a lot of youth is connecting to. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So, if you ask me as an agency, say 5 years back, we would do very big campaigns on maybe larger, festivals in India. It could be Diwali, it could be New Year, it could be Christmas, or maybe some holiday seasons and stuff, right? But now everything has become a very, very regional, very vernacular. I mean, last 2 years, we have done campaigns on Poila Boishakh, A lot of us would not know what Poila Boishakh is. It's the Bengali New Year. We have done campaigns for Vishu. We have done campaigns for Onam, so if brands are doing campaigns on digital for, to address to a particular market in a particular region by picking up creators to do that, that gives everybody a reason to say that, regional is in. If you communicate with people in the language that they understand and you touch their hearts and speak to them with words that is what when they start believing in you. A lot of brands, I mean, earlier in TV days, they would create one ad and then copy the same ad in various languages, even now when we go to movie theaters, there would be one ad with Priyanka Chopra or Shah Rukh Khan or somebody, and the voice would be Kannada, but they are not speaking in Kannada, or they are not speaking in Marathi or Tamil, right? But we know they are there, and so those ads are, they are like literally translated, for their audience. But I don't know how many of us resonate to that. But if you could take a local face, which a lot of brands have started doing, they take local faces and then make them heroes and use those faces to be brand ambassadors or brand advocates for that particular market. Just to give you an example, we did a campaign with Visible White, I think last year, where we took creators from, from Tamil Nadu, from Telangana, from Karnataka, Bengal, Maharashtra, from various regions. And when they created this video, we also gave brand usage right to promote individual videos in individual markets, right? They did not take, one Sara Ali Khan or one Kiara Advani's video and they didn't promote it. So they had those big brand ambassadors, for the brand. So they had Kiara for Visible White, but they also took this vernacular regional influencers content and promoted it on digital for X number of times to resonate with the audience. So regional is something that always gives brands better ROI. We had done I was surprised when I saw that. Sorry.
I would actually like to interject here and, catch on the word. You just used a very interesting word, ROI. And that is what, most of the brands today, we go to the biggest of the brands, or you go to the, the entrepreneur brands. Everybody talks about ROI, or they talk about, the question that I often hear is, how do we measure our success on the platform? What is it that you tell the brands? I mean, what should be their success metrics, or for any campaign, what should be the metrics?
So, this is something that we are asked day in, day out, because we are an agency, right? And brands we work with, they are very mindful of every penny they spend. And it is also, I think, our responsibility as agencies to be very, very diligent and give them, 10 times more than the money that they spend, right? It's only then we add value to the system. So it is, everybody expects you to give 1 for 1. But when you start giving 1 for 2, is when they start trusting you with what you do. So I think on videos these days, some very plain metrics, right? Like people ask for views, they ask for plays, watch time, reach, impressions, Some brands, that we work for also, so we go one step further and give them insights like conversation rates, right? Now, or an interaction rate. Now, what is an interaction rate? It's something like if 10 people have viewed my video, but if 2 of them have engaged in it with a comment or something like that, then that becomes your conversation rate, right? Which is a very insightful matrix. Dekha to 10 ne, but pasand kisko aaya? Who was the one who actually thought it was nice and went a step further, right? So that matrix is very nice. A lot of brands now also want to move towards the bottom of the funnel matrix, right? अच्छा मुझे reach मिल गया, मुझे engagement मिल गया, सब मिल गया, but पैसे कहाँ है? How many people clicked, came to my website, bought my product, right? So for this, what a lot of brands do is there are UTM links which are there, which are given to different creators, and then the traffic source is tracked, the return is tracked. I mean, I'm sure you all have an ad on, I think it's called Spark Ads or something on Merch, where you take the creator's ad and we put money behind it, and then you lead traffic to a website, right? So similarly, this is done in a lot of platforms. A very interesting number that all brands also want is watch time, just to understand that did the audience drop before the brand came in, or were they till the end of the video? So they want to know till what span of time was I able to catch the attention of the user. So these are certain metrics that we always tell the brand. So we typically say we divide it in ACPL, which is your awareness, consideration, purchase, and loyalty. These are 4 steps for every marketing funnel, right? Your views, reach, impressions, these are your awareness matrix is what we tell brand. Your interaction rate or your conversations are your consideration matrix, because that is when you say, acha, this person liked the product and now they are engaging further because they are interested in it. So we are trying to build in some consideration. And then if you reach the holy grail and you can land them up to your website and help them buy the purchase, why not? Right. So typically it ends up in a funnel like that.
So amazing. I mean, I think that's good to learn. We spoke about the universe, we spoke about the youth. You actually told us how brands can measure their campaigns. And in interest of time, I want to ask you one last question. And, that is a question which is actually going to help a lot of people present here today. When on ShareChat and Mod, we always say that it is not only about language, but it is about language with the correct cultural affluence. I mean, it's like you said, just a voiceover can't help. It has to be the real soul in the message. So give us an example of any one campaign that you would have done where language became your ultimate measurement criteria and completely turned the scales for the campaign. We would love to hear about that.
So absolutely, Seema. So we do a lot of work for Marico as well. Say 3 years back, we had done a campaign for AP, which was sliding comb, where people were just brushing their hair, because it was to show that because of the oil, your hair has become fine and you're sliding the comb kind of thing. So we had done a sliding comb challenge. Last year, or I think early this year, we did a campaign in Kerala, which was again for Parachute Ayurveda. It was called the 7 signs of hair fall kind of a thing. So the market was Kerala, where we worked with a lot of creators to create short form, videos in Malayalam. And so it's not only the language that they spoke was Malayalam, but the outfit that the creators were resonating with the audience, the kind of backgrounds they used, the kind of essence they used, right? So we stuck to the culture of Kerala when we did the campaign. And to our surprise, in that campaign, our view rate was more than 25-30%. The interaction rate, right? I always say that I always not only count views, but I also say that the interaction rate, which is typically a 4 or 5%, was almost an 8.5% for that particular campaign, where we saw a lot of people also asking questions related to that particular brand in the creator's feed, right? So we all know that when we do campaigns with influencers, a lot of times we get comments, which says, you look nice, you look cool, kind of a thing. But you get the real ROI when that comment is related to the brand. So when we are doing a campaign for Colgate, and if the if the user is asking a question saying, can I actually get white teeth in 7 days? Or is this product available on Amazon, or where can I buy it? You know, those are the things which when a vernacular creator talks with that much of authenticity, that audience resonates with it. They resonate with what they are saying. They understand every bit of it. And that is when brands see ROI. We have seen this in the case of Colgate when we did, and when we work for Colgate, it is also pan-India, right? It is Hindi, English, and also a lot of your regional markets. But there are a lot of campaigns which are done specifically for a regional market. Like there are campaigns. So there is Active Salt, which does very well in Bengal and South. So during Pujos, we do a campaign which is only for Bengal, where the essence of the campaign in terms of the flavor of the campaign, the language, the outfit, everything relates to the audience out there, right? Now, those campaigns definitely see very, very high engagement, very high conversions. They do absolutely well. Because, India is not India. I mean, I say it very often, India is Bharat, we say that we all stay in metros, we do not touch base with the real India quite often, but India is Bharat. Bharat has a lot of spends. They actually, I mean, I was reading an article the other day where it said that, platforms like your Meesho, Myntra, they have a larger sale coming from your tier 2, tier 3 cities. We do a lot of Meesho where they are catering to your tier 2, tier 3 audience, and they say, t-shirts under 299, t-shirts under 399, right? Now, this is where the Bharat is. So if we have to talk to Bharat, we have to talk to them in the language that they understand and not a plain language for all.
Absolutely. Well said, Payal, and thank you for sharing amazing insights. So I think my takeaway from today's session is that keep it short, keep it simple, keep it quick and swift. Talk vernacular with the relevant cultural influence and the soul built in the message. Talk to the relevant audience, effective audience. Learn to measure your campaigns. And most importantly, regional influencers have I think, other way to go. Bharat has the money and they have the power to spend. So with this, we come to the end with the amazing conversation we were having with Payal today.